This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Well, something that we love to talk about here on the Morning Majlis is travel. And this couple of minutes where we'll be discussing a country that is regarded as a lush tropical destination or a wonderland, let's just say, and it is situated off the east coast of Africa, and it spans over 65 kilometers in length and about 45 kilometers in width, and it's a tourist haven. And a lot of people, they come from all over the world to visit this destination. And it's a tropical paradise. It's created by volcanic activity some 8 million years ago. So much history in this country. And it's just a picturesque location to visit for sure. A lot of people regard it as the place for honeymooners in particular. And our very own Abdul Karim, he was actually over there at this country. What country are we talking about?
We're talking about Mauritius.
Yes.
So it's very popular amongst UAE travelers. The reason is because it's in the same time zone. And so when I landed, literally my watch didn't change. My body clock was the same. I left 2 a.m, fell asleep the entire flight, landed, it's 9 o'clock in the morning in Mauritius, and it was great. And I went over to cover the MCB Tour Championship. Now, this is a golf tournament that is a season finale of what they call the senior tour of the golf season, so Legends Tour, and all of the golfers there are aged 50 and above. And this is a season finale. It's a celebration of golf in the whole country because regular golfers can also take part in the Pro-Am and other competitions, rub their shoulders with these legends. So it's a great event. And sadly, Omicron was the villain in the scenario.
Really?
Because this tournament's usually meant to take place in December. Now, because Omicron was dominating the headlines across the world, National Disinfection Program took place in Mauritius again. They moved the tournament to April. Now, we normally have wet months in Mauritius. Between January to March is when you expect heavy rainfall. In April, it kind of subsides, and sadly, we faced it. On day one of the tournament, it rained out. It washed out, and we didn't have much of the first round. Second day, completely washed down again, washed the entire game, and then sadly we didn't complete the first round itself. So the tournament was cancelled. So we didn't get to see the golf that we were hoping to, sadly. But we got the winner of the Order of Merit. So throughout the season, whoever scored the most points won, and it was Stephen Dodd, and he was so happy. I got a chance to catch up with him there as well, and he was very, very over the moon. He's like, look, I didn't expect myself to perform so well, and I did. So kudos to Stephen Dodd. But speaking of the country itself, it's got some COVID rules that, it was a surprise to me. You still have to wear face masks inside cars.
Oh.
You still have to wear face masks when you're outside. Even in the hotel.
Even outside?
Outside, yeah. Even if you're walking around. Even in the hotels, they ask you to wear face masks. But they weren't too strict. Obviously, it's a resort. People want to walk around and enjoy the time by the swimming pools. But when you go to restaurants, you got to wear your face mask in your buffet stations. Those are the general rules. You've got to sign a passenger locator form once again, similar to the UK and similar to some other countries that used to practice it, but in Mauritius they still practice that rule. So
you were staying mainly in a resort, right?
Yeah, look, Mauritius is a type of a country where you would stay in a resort.
Okay.
Yes, you can venture out and see some beautiful parts of the country, but you've got to calculate the cost. So when I turned up there and I said, look, I want to go to the Port Louis capital, how much is it going to be a taxi ride? $100.
Off.
And I thought
that's expensive.
That is pricey. And I
Very
thought,
expensive.
whoa, I'd rather not.
So the country is expensive in general?
It tends to be one of the premium luxury holiday destinations.
Pretty gorgeous place as well.
It
It's
is.
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about it is the culture. I mean, the sheer number of a mix of people that can talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Demographically, I felt at home. Why?
Yeah.
I landed and then there was just British tourists. All just standard British tourists and the typical ones you'd expect as well. And it was families, it was young people, young couples, and golfers obviously that I had, and the staff were all Indian origin.
Wow.
And it felt like being here in the United Arab Emirates. So I felt at home. And the hospitality element that they bring in is amazing. The guys, the people there, the staff at the hotel, they were just so friendly. They even came up to me and started speaking to me in Hindi.
See, this is the thing. I heard that they don't have an official language in Mauritius. Is that true?
Official language in terms of communication between governments and passport control, all English. But the official language that they speak is Creole. It's a French dialect of Mauritian Creole. So if you turn up there, you can get away with speaking French, you can get away with English, and if you speak Creole, 100% you'll be loved. But it's very interesting to see how everyone, and they celebrate every culture. They have so many public holidays that they'll celebrate Christmas, they'll celebrate Ramadan.
I heard they have
they'll celebrate the Hindu festival.
An array of religions.
Oh, they just love celebrating. They love holidays.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of holidays, if you want something like that, then this could be a great destination. The other thing is, one particular point is to remember when it rains a lot, because it can ruin your holiday. Or maybe you could be like Rania, who loves rain. In fact, I was enjoying rain in my final day. When the golf was cancelled, I thought, you know what? I've got a couple of hours to kill. I know I'm going to come back to UAE's desert heat.
Yeah.
So I went over to the coastline, led the breeze and led the torrential downpour, rain on me. And I thought, you know what? This is refreshing, because I've got to go down and face the furnace. And surprisingly, the weather here is amazing too.
So what are the kind of activities you can do inside of a resort, for example?
Most resorts have, obviously, you get a package, whether you want to get a half board, full board. People get full boards. And then most resorts also offer water activities. If you want to go snorkeling, if you want to go on a boat ride, it's all included. So you don't pay extra for it, which is nice. Unless you'll pay extra if you want to go scuba diving. But as a destination, guys, on your list.
So it kind of resembles like the vibes of the Maldives.
Yes, to an extent, because Maldives then becomes completely island. So even get to a resort, it's an island itself. Here it's a full Sri Lanka style of a country.
Yeah.
It's one big island. And you can drive around and taxi fares / airport transfers can be pricey, but if you're able to weather that cost, you can make a full trip. But most of the time, people go there for resorts.
Is it populated? Because I heard that it has the highest population density in Africa. So did you see that?
I didn't face it to an extent where I felt cramped. Not at all, but it was just a resort that I was in. But 1.2 million people live in an island. So yes, they did tell me that if you go to the capital city, you pay $100, but it will take you a long time to come back, because it is busy, it's traffic.
Wow.
So based on that, I assumed that yes, it's going to be busy. But guys, let us know on the text lines 4215. Do you feel comfortable now traveling?
Did you do a PCR, by the way, when you went?
Oh yes, you had to do PCR before you land there, but come back you didn't. I had to use the UAE vaccination certificate. And the other thing is, you've got to wear a face mask throughout the flight.
Even when you reach there, you said that in the outdoors and the indoors.
Indoors, you still had to wear the face masks.
Even outdoors.
Even outdoors, walking around. So on the plane, what I did tactically would put the blanket over me, take my face mask off, and then curl up and sleep. That was my tactic.
Always tactical.
Yeah, exactly. But do drop us a text on 4215. Do you feel confident about traveling? But shout out once again and kudos to good old Stephen Dodd for winning the golf championship. So happy for him, and looking forward to hearing more about his success.
Indeed, and in the spirit of the holy month of Ramadan, we'll continue the discussions here on the Morning Majlis, particularly the humanitarian and charity initiatives that are popular here in the holy month. We'll talk about how the UAE has put itself on the global map in that regard.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pause.